Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Art of Braids podcast. I'm your host, Karen Tenard, and I'm excited about today's guest, period. We're talking about another topic I hear about all the time, building your network and gaining visibility. And today's guest is Alexzandra Denis, founder of the amazing brand AVALAH Beauty. And since today's topic is about building your network and gaining visibility, who better to talk about it? I remember, starting my brand, I was in a room and starting up as an entrepreneur, you really don't know where you fit in and who you are. You just know, like, I do braids, I do this, and I would go to like events, and I hated networking. I used to say I do not network. I just allow spirit to guide me to that one person or that two or three quality people, and I would just stand there and people would just come to me and we'll just strike up a genuine conversation. I'm not asking how we can work together. I'm not doing none of that. Like, I would just get to know the person. Like, if I don't mesh with you, I'm not gonna build nothing with you. I'm not gonna try to work on anything. Um, and that's how I would network. And like gain visibility. It would all be word of mouth and stuff like that. But I know you can't do that all the time. Like, that's not how it works in the real world, or just in general if you're trying to really become a big brand or a well-known brand. So I'm not even gonna wait anymore. Let's welcome Alex. so
Having
I,
me. Appreciate it.
no problem. Thank you so much for joining us, Alex. Your brand is very important to me. You know how I feel about your brands. Okay. So that's it. And I'm excited to have you here. But I know you, but my audience don't, right? So I would love for you to tell your story, because we all have a story. And what it is, what is your background and what it is you do in your business?
So I Aval is an all-natural skin, hair, beard, and home essentials company. The premise was to create an affordable yet luxury line that was all natural materials. And it started because my mom's from St. Vincent, my dad's from Haiti. And as I grew up, my mom never went to the store and bought us beauty products. She always just made it at home. But there was no recipe. It was like, here's some coconut oil, your face is ashy, here you go. Here's some shea butter. We'd be on the bus, like just greased up, no rubbing in, just go to school. And when I got older, when I got my first little paycheck, I saw my friends were going to all these different big box stores, and I was like, I'm gonna go try that. I want to buy the fragrances and all that. And I tried it, and like a couple weeks later, I was just like, it's not the same as what my mom raised me with. And so when I became an adult, I was like, well, how hard, like, can't they give us some sense with our shea butter? Like, I want it in a glass jar. I want to feel special. I want to feel like this is a gift I would give to my boss. And so after working for 8 years in corporate fashion, I mixed my product development experience with my childhood, basically, and was able to create AVALAH. And I wanted to be scents that were not too fruity, not too crazy. You can mix your perfumes and your colognes with it. You can give it to anyone. I tried to make a scent for everybody, which so far has worked out over the past 5 years. And I just created my baby. And then 2 years later, I left corporate America and just flew on my own. And then when I started my business, there were not as many resources as there are now. So my sister was my resource. She became an entrepreneur about 5 years prior to me starting AVALAH. She was born knowing she wanted to be an entrepreneur. And I was just like, that's not for me. That looks really hard. I like my paycheck on schedule. I like my insurance taken out. I like my Metro card. I like getting dressed up in boardrooms. And eventually we switched places. So now she works in corporate America.
Wow.
And she was like, I need stability for a kid. But during COVID. And then I went into full-time AVALAH mode. So we kind of switched places. But she was a blessing because at the time before COVID, I didn't know where to go for resources. And I had started on my own. And she was like, this is what you need to do. You need an LLC, you need to or incorporate, you need to do this, you need to do that. And she would just send me all the information she gathered for 5 years and help me out. And then now it's a whole new world where you can, ask a friend and for me, I mean, most of my friends are entrepreneurs, but you can Google it. You can go on Instagram. You
Right.
can apply for so many grants and money. So I feel like feel very blessed to have started when I did, and then now to be here and to have grown so much in
And
5 years.
right. I'm like, oh my
Oh,
God.
5 years.
Side note, I didn't even know your father was Haitian.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, all right, all right. Like that is just like, see, having this
Last name
interviews.
Dennis.
Right. Listen.
His middle name is literally Pierre. Draw
Yeah.
Pierre.
See, look, that was something that you have kept under the wraps because I so did not know. I was like, okay, all
I
right.
didn't know for a long time. I just thought my dad was a Brooklyn boy. So he never, because his dad was Haitian, so he never really grew up with it. And then I was unable to grow up with it because he didn't grow up with it. So it's one of those things where it's like, I love Haitian people. I love the culture. But there are times where I feel like, because I haven't actually been steadily involved in it, that I don't want to misrepresent sometimes. It's like, that's you asked me, I'll be like 100%. That is like one of the proudest cultures I know. I have no problem rocking it. But if you start talking about Sapa saying stuff, I just be like, I'm like a Spanish person who don't speak Spanish. Like, what you said?
And it's totally fine. Like, I barely speak Creole like that. Like I understand it, but like when someone says say, I'd be like, I'm not gonna say I'm not boule. Like I'm just not gonna do that. I'm not hot. It's cold outside. You know what I'm saying? So don't worry about that. Like it's just like, okay.
But I love the fact you rep it hard. Like that's one of the things I love about you. You rep the culture for a fact hardcore. So I rep more of the Vinci side because I grew up with that, and that's what I understand a lot of. But listen, don't. My mom learned how to make black rice for me because I was like, Mom, I feel like I'm apart from my people. And she was like, okay, Mama gonna make you some black rice.
Okay, so let's keep to the topic. Thank you for sharing your story. And I feel like that's also a part of, your brand and just like incorporating all of that of you in this brand. People literally call you AVALAH and they forgot your first name. Which is Alex. So it's just like that's how much you are so like attached to the brand. Like the brand art is you. Like there's no separation almost. So let's go to the topic at hand, which is building a network and gaining visibility. So let's go into the first topic. What is the meaning of having a network?
So I think for me, I don't think you need just one lane. You don't just clump everybody. This is my business network. I think there are people who might have started off as business and they turn into a friendship. People start off as friendship and turn into business. Network is a collective that you can reach out to whenever you're facing good times and bad times, and that they know what to do or they can help point you in the right direction. I think your network should kind of be like a map, and they literally point you wherever you need to go, or they give you ideas, or they place you in places you might have not been able to get into. And when you look at it, it's a bunch of different maps. So you have, the United States, and then you have Africa, and then there are things that they merge on, or there are things that they can trade between each other. There are people that you help and that also help you. And for me, I feel like being genuine and authentic in that exchange is the best way to go about it. But I feel like your network, it's friends, family, strangers could be in your network. And there's so many different ways to create your network between LinkedIn and Instagram. There's customers I've never met, but they send me like pop-ups like crazy on Instagram. And I'm like, thank you, Donovan 6. Like
Not the 826. Like
I'm
but
like,
that's how much people love. Like it's when they say that your audience is not usually your customers and not usually your friends or family that you grew up with, is going to be like strangers, because as soon as you put it on, like you're like rubbing up. I'm telling you, like I had went to an event. I'm just not gonna name the person's name, but we went to the hotel and it's like, yo, about to take a shower, son. Like I got the AVALAH steamer. Like, I'm like, oh, I only got two. I can't break it in. So I'm gonna give you one. And I was like, all right, cool. Like it was just kind of like something that you needed and you wanted to share it with people because it's so good.
But that's
Right.
it. That's how I built the brand. Is it's for you to share, for you to enjoy. I want it to be something that it's not cheap. I say affordable because it's not $100 body butter,
Right.
but something that it's precious to you. And I've been blessed, like people love that body butter and then they share it with their grandmother and their mother and they share the experience with people. And then that again builds your network because you never know who that person's grandmother is, who that person's mother is. And so it just continues to like get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm just like, who now was using my stuff? And I was like, it always surprises me, always.
Stay great in the grateful spirit. So I feel like it's going to continue. So I'm gonna go to the next question. How can businesses maintain their visibility and get access to multiple spaces? Because we already know you in a couple of spaces.
I think once you have a really great product that it speaks for itself, I think you are your brand. So when people call me AVALAH, I don't take offense to it. I actually always say I prefer you to know the brand before my name. And there are people who have known me before AVALAH even existed and they still call me AVALAH. And I'm like, I've known you for like 10 years. Visibility isn't something that it's something that I avidly look for, but I also don't make it like I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna look for where I can be all the time. It's just like you know, every once in a while, if you're on Instagram, go through Instagram, you come across people that you never think you could work with, but then you always can pivot it into. I think there's no area that you can't pivot your brand into. So even when it comes to like a friend of mine, Camille, has a towel company, and it's like, oh, I can promote you as well if we put your towels in my picture with my spa products, and then boom. Or like, hey, I'm in this hotel, would you want to be there too? Visibility, if you stay open to people and genuine and think outside the box. So I've always tried to think outside the box when it comes to AVALAH. Where can I be where there are not a lot of beauty products, so that I'm always an unexpected gift so Lips Cafe sells my candles. It's like, you don't expect a cafe to sell candles. And it's like, haha, gotcha. But also, I hate to say, there's no competition in the cafe because I'm the only one who thought, let me bring my candles to your cafe to sell. So people can focus. They're like, I came for coffee, but what's this? And so I love working with small businesses. I don't really ever want to, not to say never, but my focus is not to be in a big box brand, because I feel like small businesses understand the struggle. And so they promote you as hard as you promote them. And so you're promoting each other. Whereas for me, in a bigger brand, I can get lost because they have so many other beauty brands that what's special about mine isn't taken seriously. So when it comes to visibility, it's being open, thinking outside the box, and then relying on your network. So I remember there was a chef that I knew, and I would get my lunch from her restaurant every day by my studio. And then one day I just told her, like, I'm trying to get into hotels and I'm having a hard time. I don't know. I only got one. And she was like, oh, I used to be a chef at the Marriott. I'm gonna connect you to this person.
Look at that.
And I was going to her for over a year, but speaking what you're looking for out loud to people, you never know. Like, she had her own small business. She was selling burritos and tacos, and I'm sitting there like eating it up. But never thought she was the chef at the Marriott. She never said it to me before. I never asked. And you never know who people know, and people don't know what you're looking for or what your capacity is until you tell them.
Ooh,
It also
come
helps you
on.
out. And also you're putting it out into the universe, and the universe is like, here you go.
No, that is so good. And it's like closed mouths don't get fed. So it's like, look, be vulnerable, be willing to look stupid, right?
100%.
And most of the times you don't even look stupid, you know? All right, okay. All right. So this okay. So what opportunities can help businesses expand their network and create visibility? I feel like you touched on that point already.
Yeah, but there are more opportunities. Like, see what's going on in your neighborhood, see what organizations you can join. even if you never go to the meetings. So I joined the SBA. I never go to the meetings, but I look through what they have or what opportunities I need. So like I joined Made in NYC because I needed photography help. And then they also send you a bunch of stuff that they're doing, or a store that sells my products. They'll be having a networking event, try to pull up to those events whenever you can. And then bring your business cards, or
that
if you
part.
have a app card or something, bring it with you, and then be open to talking to people. I'm not a extrovert. I'm very much an introvert that pulls it off very well. And for the most part, I will go into a room and like, if you walk up to me, I will have a conversation with you. But if you don't walk up to me, I'm just gonna be like, who else is standing? Look for the other person awkwardly by themselves, and then walk up to that person because they're gonna be grateful you're talking to them. And
Right.
then
It's like, oh,
it's like, oh, you look like you need someone to talk to too. And then hold up the wall with them. And then always send thank you cards. I know we don't do that anymore, but when you go to an event, figure out who organized it, send a thank you card. I need to be better at that, but it keeps you in mind in their minds, so that in the future, if they're having an event or if they can feature your brand on their Instagram, you can collaborate. And don't always go looking for, we need to work together and collaborate. Sometimes just try to form a genuine bond with a person, and then the opportunities will present themselves. And sometimes don't look for immediate gratification when meeting people. It could be, like I said, a year later, and it's like, oh, we can figure out a way to work together. And then also, I would say, me personally, I would say never be afraid to give something away for free. Not your whole product, but like testers and samples, a little bit of advice as a teaser, because then it brings people in. And so people then are like, oh, for me, the body butter, it's like you have a tester and you're like, ooh, this is good. And then they have a baby shower and they're like, oh, could you do my baby shower? Do you have this size? And once they give it to 20 of their friends, their 20 friends are like, well, now I want this at my wedding. And it grows and grows and grows.
right. No, this is totally true, especially like not looking for like that instant gratification or like instant work. You got to have patience in this in this business, like and just be present. Like, I mean, how many times did I meet you and I'm like, okay, then it's like, okay, you see the person more times, multiple times, and it's like, oh, okay, this person is the same way, like genuine. Okay, cool. And then slowly but surely, it's like, I'm gonna promote you, you'll promote me organically, not saying, hey, I have something coming up, can you promote me? It's more of like you feel the need to do it because you want to. And then I think one time we just kind of like worked together on I think it was the thing with Sydney, and yeah, with the roller skates, and it was just like, oh, okay, we're gonna get your butter, we're gonna put it on her leg, like we're gonna make this work, and it's just like that was a organic partnership that just kind of happened on the whim, and how successful that was, it was just kind of like, okay, because it was kind of like a tester,
Yeah.
like how we work together.
You don't have a staff. So you need to rely on your network. You need to rely on, oh, I met a cool photographer. I like his Instagram. Let's stay in touch. Hey, my portfolio is not where I want it to be. How about you take pictures of my product? I'll promote you on my Instagram. Then I'll use my pictures on my website. Like, you don't have a staff. So for us to find someone and say, oh, you'd be a great model. And she's like, I'm not always trying to do that, but to say like, put your rollerblades on, then you can use those pictures. And then I post her, people will follow her, and then you did the fashion, then people follow you. And then you actually physically went and took the pictures. So that means a day that I would have to take off. But then you look at it like reciprocate. Like next time, I might be the one taking the pictures, and you promote and you do something. You know what I mean? Like, it's collaborating. So when you have a staff of 1 or 2 people, you always have to figure out new ways to like have people on board, but not necessarily have people on board.
Right. And it worked out. And then we all was Virgos.
Yeah, I know.
Like, it was like, oh, you get it, it's like-minded people. Like, it's just like your vibe attracts your tribe. Like, I think that's the season we're in, where it's just like, yo, I'm becoming who I'm attracting, and that's it. Okay, let's get back to the thing. Okay. What requirements do business owners need to improve their network?
Patience is definitely one.
Mhm.
I say always be promoting. You should always be promoting your brand. Um, right now.
Right. Okay. I've seen that.
Promote it, but don't push it. Promote it, but don't push it. So for me, I think a lot of my customers like getting to know me as well as the products, which makes them want to buy the products more because they like the brand. They like the person who's running the brand. They see the vision in the brand and being accessible. Um, let's see. Wait, what was the question?
What requirements do business owners need to improve their
Oh,
network? You said
so
patience
patience
was
is
the
definitely
first.
one. Actually looking for where you want to find a network. So like LinkedIn, there are times where I'll go through LinkedIn and I'm like, oh, this person sounds like someone I should follow in beauty or skincare or marketing. It's not, and then don't be so honed into I sell skincare. So I'm just only gonna focus on skincare and everybody who's not in skincare can't help me. So being
Mhm.
open, thinking outside the box always helps because it's crazy the collaborations that you can come up with when you're not forcing, like it has to be a beauty brand that I work with. It has to be this kind of company. It has to be only Black owned. It has to be like you pigeonhole yourself when you don't be open. Like we get it. You want to support and you want business. There's a whole lot of people in the world you could support also. Um,
We take money. Doesn't
yeah,
matter what color it is.
I take green. If the
Right.
card not decline, you're okay by me. Uh,
I get it though. Like, we can do more with everybody's dollar,
yeah.
right?
I mean,
Um,
whenever it comes to an event that represents being a Black owner or being a woman of color or any of the other boxes that you get, you fill into, 100% do those, but don't pigeonhole yourself that you're missing out an entire customer stream just because you're so fine-tuned on these are the people that are going. If you get into these are the only people who are going to support me, then guess what? Those are the only people that are going to support you.
exactly.
And so you need to open up. There's a whole world out there.
Okay. You heard that. Alex said it. So do you have any favorite tools, resources, that you use to help you in your entrepreneur journey that you can remember?
For networking, all the time people spend on social media, I think people should spend more time on social media building their brands. So, and I mean it in a way where Brooklyn Mavens, for example, I saw their Instagram and I was like, I don't remember how many followers they had at the time, but as a Brooklyn girl, and they were posting all these things that were going on in Brooklyn, and I was like, I'm going to email them. So I emailed them, hey, do you want to do a collaboration with my brand? And I'll just send you some products. You don't have to post it if you don't want to. You can keep them, just try them out. Boom, boom. They got the products. We finally, they did the photos themselves and sent it to me. And now we DM every once in a while. We'll show up to events at the same time together. And I can honestly say, like, oh, I rock for them. Like, I like them. And when I say we're friend, but you don't have to make everybody your best friend. But
Right.
like those girls, I confidently am like, I will send them to another brand to work with them, or I will send an opportunity that I see their way. And you'll be surprised how many people are willing to work with you if you just ask. So
Mm.
there's another blogger. She has a lot of followers, Dom in the city, and she posts about all these restaurants, and I mean like really great content. And I said, hey, can I send you a candle? Sent her a candle. She's posted it like 5 times over and over again. And then she sent me, when I tried to sign up for Soho House, she was like, oh, I'll put it, I'll be your recommend. Like these people don't, she's never met me physically. But through the course of a year, I'll comment on her content and I'll repost her content. So it's like a friend in my head. Like Wendy Williams always said, friend in my head. She's like a friend in
Right.
my head. And it's like, but you'll be surprised, like you're not asking, yes, you pay for shipping, but that is someone who you can now, who respects you and you respect them. And you can try to collaborate or figure out how to work or network. And there's another influencer, and you don't have to do influencers. Honestly, the most sales I've ever gotten from someone was a woman who knits. She had a knitting YouTube channel, and she met me at Metrotech 2 years ago. She came in, she did a video, she's like, I knit. And I was like, okay, cool. I didn't understand it. I was like, oh, knitting. My mom, you know, she used to do it. She had like 57 sales come back to me that winter. On the
Wow.
1 cent. She only bought everything in classic. She did a video on her YouTube, and she tagged me, and all she said was, I love classic. I bought this, I bought that, I bought that. And then slowly over the next 2 weeks, every time I pinged, everything was classic for the holidays. And I was just like, people were just buying whatever, everything classic. And I was just like, what? And they were like, Gigi sent me, Gigi sent me, Gigi sent me. So when you're looking at these, you know, influencers who have 1 million followers, 500,000 followers, remember, there are people out there who have 2,000 followers and 500 of them will follow them to the end of the earth.
Right.
Whereas the ones who have, you know, 500,000, that's great too, but you might get some follows. It doesn't mean that they're going to buy your product.
And this is true. Right. Got to
Never
understand the
be afraid to
market.
make the first move.
What was that?
Never be afraid to make the first move.
Ooh,
Initial contact.
girl, we talking about business or dating? No.
No,
Okay. Okay.
well, maybe both.
Maybe both. I mean, how you
Always
show up in
both.
one area in your life is usually how you show up in the rest. So take the risk.
Take the
Go
risk.
out there.
Don't
Go
be afraid
network.
of no.
Don't be afraid of no, because you're gonna hear it.
A lot.
Yeah, and it's not no right. It's not no all the time. It could be no right now, and it could be just a redirection. Maybe that person is not for you. Maybe that location or brand is not for you. Something else probably is for you. So don't take it to heart, or maybe it's not for right now, because that person probably is like, we're over budget, or we short of staff. There's a whole bunch of things that could be going wrong. Just don't stay in your head. Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
don't do one and like, I'm waiting for you. Like, do 10 and then like do 10 more and then do 10 more. There was a brand that I reached out to. They have a store in Harlem, and I was like, I want to get in that store. And they never reached out to me. And I was like, okay, well, it is what it is. And then this year they reached out to me talking about, we want your shower steamers. And I was
listen,
like,
let it go and let God work.
Out to you. And you know, everything will work out the way it's supposed to. Don't put so much pressure on yourself that you're like, they didn't answer back, they don't want me. Like, no, people have other things going on too. You don't know the status of their venues, their stores, their events. And you know, there are things I sign up for all the time that I don't get, and I'm like, it doesn't bother me, it rolls off my back. Then there are things I don't sign up for and I get, and I'm like, how did that even happen?
Because what's for you will never pass you by.
100%. That's the whole word. Whole word.
Ooh. Okay. All right. Let's all right. So this was a really good interview, and the points that you just like dropped a whole bunch of gems effortlessly. So thank you so much for that. But before we wrap up, there's a few questions that I like to like end on a positive high. So I got 3 little questions for you. Right? It's little, it's light, it's fun. Okay. 1, what is your favorite go-to braid style and why? 2, is there a book that you can recommend that would be great for a starting entrepreneur? 3, are there any new products, projects, or events that you would like to give us the tea on?
So braids, first of all, braids, I love, and you know this, I love my braids because I feel like that's my little armor. Like, I even wanted braids for today. Like, that's my how I like to show up in the world. I've been having braids since I was a little kid, and I get the little plaits or box braids. Box braids are usually my fave. And I don't have to comb my hair. My hair is protected. I could put it in a bun if I have to. I can make it curly if I want to. Like, braids have always been. I remember when I was in school and Alicia Keys came out with braids, and I was like, she took my braids. And then I was like, look at it, because people make fun of me because they were like, what you gonna do when you're an adult? You gonna have braids? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, adults don't wear braids. They were perming at the time. Everybody got perm. And I was like, oh man, not my braids. And then when Alicia Keys came out with the braids, I was like, an adult with braids.
It's
And I
like
was
it's
so
a wrap.
And so most of my adulthood, there was a time where I did the whole pressing and flat ironing thing, but braids for me is my happy place. This is where I feel like the sexiest. Also I can hide. It's also the place where I show myself.
Not the hide.
Sometimes it's like, just hide it. Just hide everything. And then
Okay.
sometimes bun it and I'm ready to go. Cinderella.
Right. This is true.
Book, the Bible.
Ooh.
I know that's probably not what everybody wants to hear, but whatever spiritual books you can get with, because for me, being an entrepreneur it's a lonely journey, even if people are on it with you. And so sometimes you forget that God is that, for me at least. I'm not saying you have to believe in God, whatever you believe in, but sometimes you just have to remember, like, you're not doing it by yourself, and everything is in a stronger, higher power's hands, and you can't be this calm and patient. Your bills have to get paid. You're scared if you have children. It's a scary journey, and even if you don't have children, it's a scary journey. And so sometimes you're like, when's the next check coming in, because I got bills, I have things to do. When's my next opportunity? And so I feel really grateful for year 5, because it's like, you made it here. Like, he couldn't have built you up this high to let you down. So
Right.
so for me, the Bible is always a big help. I need to read it more, but every once in a while, when the devil tests me, I just like pop out a verse real quick. But yeah, I always feel like that's a good one. And then no matter what you're going through, there's always something in there for it.
Girl, yes, it is.
Good mood, even if you're grateful. And then if you're sad, if you're mad.
I believe it. You got the Proverbs. Like, oh my God. Book of Psalms.
My favorite book.
So no, I get it. Truly get it. And then the last is, are there any new products, projects, or events that you want to give us the tea on?
Let's see, projects. So this year I've been looking to do less pop-ups and more experiences for my customers. I don't have an actual physical store, but I find that my customers really like interacting with me. So trying to get them in one place to do an activity together really helps with with branding of AVALAH. Also, when you put it on different platforms, you get new customers who are just interested in learning that task. But when they show up and they're like, oh, I like your products too. So I did candle making in January, and that was a really big hit. The Williamville Hotel, I'm doing candle making with them and their guests in April. I know, right? I'm like, yeah.
Right. All
My
right.
June is already planned with the spot. What else is coming up? And then I just want to do more events. So I want to do a sugar body scrub class. I want to do another candle making class, and then I want to do a make your own body butter class. And you bring in your own scent, and you can pick. It's not gonna be my recipe. You make your own. It's gonna have mango butter, shea butter. We're gonna get all the butters, cocoa butter, and you can mix it however you want. Make it fluffy, make it whipped. So those are things that I'm planning. So you follow AVALAH whenever I decide the location, time to do those. And then I'm always working on something new. There's always stuff mulling around. My BK Life on Sterling and Washington is going to be selling my candles starting next week. So I'm excited for that.
I'm looking out for it.
I'm like, there's always something. I know. I'm like, book tour. Book tour.
But that's not about me. It's about you, AVALAH.
It's about us. It's about us.
See, she out here saying the word. I can't.
Never about me. Like, whenever people, why don't you get your stuff made in China? I'm like, it's about Brooklyn. It's about us. It's about what I grew up with. I want to make sure we're good. Like, it's not just me.
And we can feel it.
Got the whole Brooklyn on my back.
Ooh, but I could feel it. Like, that's the energy you put out. And it's like genuinely embedded in every product that you put out. Because it's like every one of them is like, oh no, I like it. Like, yeah, if I had $1 million, it would be going to AVALAH. So congrats on all of the stuff that you got going on, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna have some.
AVALAH turned 5 this year. I'm trying to have a 5-year birthday party for the brand, only because I'm late on the planning, but we turned 5 in March. So I'm trying to do
this month.
Yeah, which January was crazy, February was crazy. So I finally am having time to like, now what do you want to do? I want to celebrate with, like, I don't know if I want to do a dinner for people or like grab and walk around and go and network. And
you got a week left.
It's not gonna be this month. It's definitely gonna be later in the year. I'm gonna be 5 all year long. So I'm not pressuring. I'm not giving myself. Yeah, I'm not giving myself that pressure. I want it to be, it's Virgo. I want you guys to have an experience. I don't want you to show up and I give you a paper cup. I want you to show up in like soiree. Okay.
Not the paper cup.
You're not gonna Kmart our way through this.
I'm done. I'm done with you. Okay, so thank you so much. I can't express how much I'm grateful. I can't even get the words out. How I'm grateful to have you on the show, because you definitely prepared for the interview, and you've been like answering the questions, making sure that everybody has the tools, the resources, I just the information that they need to become a better entrepreneur. I mean, as braiders, we don't know about all of the stuff that makes us set apart from the next and treat braiding as a business. Like growing up, nobody was like, oh, braiding is a business that is respected. And now, with having having you, Alex, on the show and talking about how we can network as braiders, but as like brands and kind of tell the story through who we are, and be more mindful of like the brand and what we're trying to tell. So
100%. You find a good braider, that's an important person in your life, because you're gonna sit for hours
facts
with the person. Better be someone you like.
Right. They're touching your head, you're touching theirs. Energy is always exchanged. So before we wrap up, can you tell the people how they can find more about you, how they can contact you, and how they can support you?
I love. So Instagram, Facebook, pretty much most of social media, it's AVALAH Beauty, AVALAH Beauty. And then, or you can go on the website, www.avalah.com. And then support, you can actually purchase my products from third parties, because that supports not just me, but them as well. And so it's listed on the website, a couple of places that sell my stuff. And then we are now at JFK and LaGuardia Airport. So if you're traveling, please feel free to find AVALAH wherever it is in those terminals. I got a plane ticket to see. I haven't taken a vacation just yet, but if you could find it there, the more you support brands through third parties, even though it's like, I want to give you all the money, you're showing that third party that to continue ordering products from me, and it gives more value back to the brand. So it's great if you go to, other people to buy it, even if you work out wholesale prices. But it's good. It makes you feel good. People are like, we love your products. We bought it at this place. I'm like, oh, I love her, right? The owners, it gives you conversation and connection.
Oh, I love that. Like, that's so selfless. Like, you're not only supporting AVALAH, but you're supporting those spaces that have allowed you to kind of like bless their shelves. And it shows like you did it was a right decision of having me in your space. So congrats on all of that.
These stores closed down. You want to keep these stores going. Like, I don't have a physical store, so I have less worries with having to get employees and product and all of that stuff. So it's always great to support those small businesses too.
So you heard it here. Alex said, go out, support her. If you're traveling, copy you a AVALAH Beauty. There's steamers, there's body butter, there's candles, there's beard oil, there's summer, especially with the summer coming, you have this summer shine. Is it the summer shine?
Shimmer body oil.
Shimmer body oil.
Like sunshine on you.
That it glistens. So you want to make sure all of those, and the perfect thing about her brand is like it absorbs into your skin and it lasts. And like when people smell you walk by, listen, people be like, what you got on? The other day I hugged somebody and they were like, you got on classic? Like I am not lying. Like I was just like, yeah. And they were like, they understood it. So it's like having that like that knows about it, like AVALAH is somewhere around here. Like that is great.
I've had that before. I've heard people like, oh my gosh, I hugged this guy at the club and he smelled just like classic. I was like, he probably was it in Brooklyn? He probably was wearing classic.
All right. So thank y'all so much for listening. Thank you, Alex, for sharing your time, your energy, your expertise, and you're light with my guests, with myself. Um, Remember, follow Alex at AVALAH Beauty on Instagram. Visit her site. And just know this is your girl Karen, the host, and you're rapping with Alex or Alexzandra Denis of AVALAH. And that's it. Bye. Listen, such an amazing interview. To get more info, go to kaidetres.com/podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you got a lot from today. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and show back up. Okay, see you in a bit.